Myself and Kristian Kley, my good friend, are here today to really help everyone with a problem that seems to be repeatedly asked at all the courses. How do you manage the MCL in a high tibial osteotomy procedure? How do you preserve the PES? And how do you physically release the superficial MCL? And we're going to take you through that with a cadaveric demo. The second thing that we'd like to share with you today is how do we protect the neurovascular bundle at the back of the tibia in a more effective way than we've currently been doing. And we're going to do that with a fantastic idea that Kristian has had to come from a posterior approach behind the MCL with a new retractor that he's designed, and we're going to show you how that works. Okay, so we're looking at the model of a knee. Obviously we have the extensor mechanism and we have the MCL. When we're doing our osteotomy surgery, we have to do something to the MCL, which we're about to demonstrate to you in this video, but also very importantly we have to protect the neurovascular bundle at the back. Now if we show you where the neurovascular bundle is, it sits just here. With our current approaches, we have to peel back the medial collateral ligament, and as we peel back the medial collateral ligament, we introduce our retractor, but the angle is always posterior, straight towards the neurovascular bundle. We force it back and we try and get it flat, but we're always fighting against the medial collateral ligament. So if we show you, and we're going to show this in a little bit more detail, the guide that Kristian has developed, we can introduce this into the back of the knee, and we could go like so and cut the tibia, but we're fighting the MCL. So Kristian has had this very interesting concept of actually making a separate incision at the back of the tibia and introducing our retractor behind the MCL in a posterior to anterior position uphill, working our way along the back of the tibia such that we're behind the MCL for the entire procedure. Once that is in position, he has also had another further very good idea to lock this guide into position with a wire, and we're going to show you that in video too.
Okay, looking at the retractor now, we have loaded a 19L wire.
Can you show us the back of that retractor
of
so
course.
We can see where it's going?
It's going in the handle all the way through this tube, coming up here with quite a sharp curve of 75 degrees, and then from the back, which is located outside of the patient, you can advance the K-wire to be positioned in the back, in the very back of the tibia. So that's the typical position where the retractor is located. So what we then do, if we, under fluoroscopic control, have proven this is the right position to have the retractor, we just advance our K-wire by oscillation and guide it into the tibia. Okay, so that's the position of the retractor, and once it's in place, you just advance the K-wire and shoot it in so that it locks in the back of the tibia. And once it's locked in the back of the tibia, you cannot really move it any further. So there is no chance of losing your position.
And where would the neurovascular bundle be at this point?
Well, here, directly here in the back. Protected by the popliteus that sits even over this retractor.
Okay, so what we're talking about here is a whole new approach to releasing the MCL.
Try to move it.
We're going behind the MCL. We're going to show you a separate incision. We're going to lock the retractor in place. We're going to lock it into the bone, and we're going to be superficial, anterior to the neurovascular bundle as well as the popliteus, and we're going to demonstrate that to you now. So just to walk you through the anatomy, we've identified the back of the tibia, we've got the front of the tibia, we've got the medial femoral condyle and the epicondyle, and we've got the superficial MCL inserting down onto the tibia. We also have the PES coming in. So where do we make our incision first? Let's show you where we would make a mini incision, and let's show you a more standard incision. So first, our preferred incision is slightly oblique, just below the joint line, maybe 4 centimetres, gives you more than enough, particularly with the small plates like the Activmotion plate from Newclip, and you can see that here, and Kristian is about to incise the tissue. So first we go through the skin and we go through down to the fat, and we see the fat very clearly. and Kristian is now just moving the fat away, and we can see underneath we've got the subcutaneous fascia. What we do next now is we're going to make a more maximally invasive approach. We're going to show you a more standard incision. So for beginners, we would recommend that you make this incision slightly longer, because of course you're going to have better visualization. Now what we're going to do is we're going to excise a skin flap, and we're going to show you the anatomy and walk you through the next steps in releasing the MCL. Okay, so what we can see Kristian has done here is we have the extensor mechanism. We have dissected out the patellar tendon, and we're going to show you how we would normally come underneath here. And we can see there's the tibial tubercle, and there's the extensor mechanism. For the biplanar cut, we would make it in this orientation here. Then we're going to show you the pes, and here we can see Kristian's going inside, and he's just literally opening up. You can hear the crack, crack, crack. He's opening up, and he's releasing the pes as it comes down onto the tibia. So all he did was let's rotate it around so the camera can see inside. All he did was go inside, and he opened up, and that pushed the hamstrings away. And you normally get a kind of cracking noise as you do that. Now we can identify the superficial MCL. We can see it clearly. And what we're going to do is, having identified the superficial MCL, we're going to show you first the problem of trying to do a traditional MCL release and retractor position. So traditionally, we would come down from the front. Don't release it just yet because we need the tension for your technique.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
So we would release the MCL like this, and then we're fighting the whole time, fighting with the orientation of the retractor. So as we're putting our retractor in, it's heading posterior, straight towards the vessels, from front to back. We don't want this. So the concept that we have had, or Kristian has had, is to make an incision on the back behind the MCL. This is very easy to do, and we find the MCL and we just release it. Now for the sake of this demonstration, we're going to release the pes so that you can see what we're doing more clearly. So we're just going to come in now and release this pes. Take the pes off. Good. Now we see the back of the tibia. And the idea is to make a small incision on the back of the tibia, as you can see Kristian doing here, just like this. And now when we place our periosteal elevator or retractor in, we're heading from the back.
Now listen.
And listen. You can hear Kristian scratching the back of the tibia, and he's coming from posterior to anterior completely safely.
Now you leave this retractor in. Can you hold it?
Yeah. Do you want to use the small?
That's
one?
perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect. Now we leave this retractor in as a guide to hold back the popliteus.
Yeah.
Introduce this one. Now you can take it out, please. Advance this one further, all the way to this position.
So you can see the MCL is still intact. We're behind the MCL, and Kristian is coming from posterior to anterior, and we're going to lock this into position with a wire that goes down the middle of this novel guide that we've designed. Good. So now the guide is locked in place. It's locked into the bone. So when our saw comes down, the saw will be following the line of the retractor in a completely safe fashion. We're going from posterior to anterior, and this is the way that the high tibial osteotomy surgery is going to be carried out in the future.
And now we release the medial collateral.
So now Kristian is going to show us the next step would be to release the MCL. This is very similar to how we do it in a total knee replacement. So you can see all he did was he took any kind of periosteal elevator and he just elevated that tissue away, and he's now placed his second retractor, which is a more traditional retractor position, and we are good to go, and we're good to cut the bone in a completely safe fashion. He's a very clever man. Very good. Okay,
thank you.
That's it. Nice. We'd like to show that actually the retractor is completely locked in the bone. So Kristian is moving the entire bone with a retractor that is locked. Now what we will be designing very shortly, or we've got the designs and we will show you, is a way of tracking this retractor with the saw so that the two are locked together, and that is an innovation that we'll be sharing with you very shortly.